Hello once again, and welcome Mustang basketball fans to another edition of Mustang Basketball with Brad Bigler. I'm Kelly Loft, Athletic Communications Director at Southwest Minnesota State University, and I'm glad you could be with us this week as we talk Mustang hoops with the head coach, Brad Bigler. We'll look back at last weekend's games at Upper Iowa and Winona State, and we'll preview this upcoming weekend's games versus Wayne State and Augustana. Promises to be an exciting weekend of basketball at the RA facility as we head into the month of February, closing in on this regular season, and lots of shuffling going on around the conference and the standings, and it should be an exciting weekend, as we mentioned, and we'll talk about that and much more here on the show in the next 30 minutes. With us is the head coach, as always, Brad Bigler. As we have lots to talk about this week. Obviously, the two games this past weekend at Upper Iowa and Winona State, and again a big Hawaiian night weekend coming up this Friday and Saturday Hawaiian weekend, and capped off by the festivities on Saturday night. But the Mustangs this past weekend split a couple of games, wrapping up their four-game road trip, beating Upper Iowa on Friday night, January 27th, winning by 10, 81-71. Mustangs shoot a season-high 56.5% from the field, just 3 of 6 from three-point range, and hit some big shots and won by 10. And then the next night, playing the 6th-ranked team in the nation, a team that just has had the Mustangs' number in the regular season the past few years, and the Mustangs lose to Winona State 69-68. A couple of great chances down the stretch for the Mustangs this past Saturday night, but unable to beat the Warriors. And the Mustangs now 10-9 overall, 9-6 in the conference, and currently tied for 5th place along with UMD and Augustana. And Coach, you had long 4 games on the road to go into northern Minnesota, and then the northern Iowa and the southeast Minnesota. It's great to be home, but you go 1-3, and obviously not the greatest trip. But once you go 0-2, you thought, hey, well, let's get a split this weekend, and you did that and nearly picked up 2 wins.
Yeah, and it comes back to treating each weekend, or going game by game, but weekend. One weekend at a time, and the goal of the weekend, as always, when you go on the road, is to try to come away with 1 win. We were close to pulling off the second one. Give Winona credit for making a couple plays in the end. We definitely had our opportunities, whether it was missed free throws or missed baskets there in the end, to come out with that win.
Well, the strange thing about this weekend, it seems like we always play Winona State on a Friday night, and it's a different environment. There's a very good crowd for Upper Iowa on Friday, but obviously it's usually a lot bigger at Winona, and we've had some tight games over the years. And then you go to Upper Iowa, and it's a lot different atmosphere. It's a different this time around, but still Upper Iowa gave you a very good game, and you knew they beat Augustana the week before, and they were going to give us a good run, and they did.
And I thought Upper Iowa was playing at a pretty high level. They got a couple wins, got Augustana. Was playing very physical, playing smart. Going into that game, we were focused and ready to go. All week long, we were focused on defending Upper Iowa's scheme and making sure that we're not overlooking them before the next night going up to Winona.
Well, it was an incredible start. Mustangs took a 21-3 lead in the first 5 minutes or so. And Coach, have you ever seen anything like that? That was we've had great runs, but to start a game 21-3 on the road, it was nearly picture-perfect basketball.
Well, it was nice to see Jordan Miller knock down some threes early. Got a couple steals, got some easy buckets in transition. We've talked a lot about that, where if you can get a steal and you can get an easy bucket on the other end, how a momentum changer that is. And to be able to get up early, we needed all those points because Upper Iowa made a nice little comeback throughout the half and cut it to 3 right before halftime.
Yeah, that's one thing that coaches always talk about. I'm sure he told the guys that there's always going to be a run by a team somewhat throughout the game. And you knew Upper Iowa was going to make that run. And I think a lot of times people think, boy, it's 21-3, you're up 18, that you're going to blow them out their entire game. That rarely happens, and that was a great example. Upper Iowa comes back and trails just 36-33 at halftime, but you guys started out very strong in that second half and got the lead back up by double digits, and really just a methodical, hard-working game to win on the road, which is always a special thing to do.
And I thought, Upper Iowa, I thought they handled our ball pressure in the second half a lot better, took care of the basketball and got some shots up. I thought on our side of things, on the offensive end, our ability to dictate the tempo a little bit. We got a lot of good looks when we needed to, and it was nice to see Nick Smith step up again in that second half and have a nice half.
Yeah, Nick Smith finished the game 16 points, 7 rebounds to lead the Mustangs. Jordan Miller had 8 points and 7 rebounds, and good production off your bench. Lavion West, Casey Susanguth, 6 of 7 combined, had 21 points between the two of them. Trent Carlson had 4 assists and had 5 points, hit a 3, his 100th in his career, but key to have those guys coming off and playing well off the bench.
Yeah, it was. Anytime we can get offensive production from those guys, it's what it's doing. It just takes pressure off of Jordan Miller and Nick Smith and Matt Zager to have to put up those big numbers. A lot of it comes back to taking advantage of their opportunities. Casey was getting some action off post touches, but he was also moving well without the basketball, being in the right place at the right time, and he got a couple offensive rebounds.
Yeah, the Mustangs win 81-71. As you mentioned, Mustangs shoot a season-high 56.5%, and you know you're shooting at a high level, Coach. You don't have to shoot many threes. Only 6 attempts in the game. You made 3 of them, got to the free throw line, and you know a fairly solid effort at 76% from the line, 26 of 34, and it was just what you needed to do. And defensively, you know, did what you had to as well, and created some turnovers. You forced 13 of them, and they only had 7 assists. The little things that you do to win a game, and it worked out. And that kind of leads to my next question: is it's the second time around you played these guys, and coming up this weekend with Wayne and Augustana. How often does the first game factor into your game plan for the second time you play them? Obviously, things have changed in over a month and a half, and you've got a lot more film on them since then. But did you even go back and look at those first game films?
Yeah, we do. We focus a lot on that first game, especially when it comes to matchups and understanding how we can defend them at the best level that we can defend them. But yeah, like you said, it is over a month ago, and they've improved a lot since the last time we played them. So you have to also put that in as a factor.
Again, the Mustangs win 81-71, and we'll see the highlights shortly. But the next night, the Mustangs head north and take on Winona State. Again, a team that was 18-2 and just 1 loss in the conference, and that loss was a very controversial one in early January against Northern State. A team that's been playing very well, and they're very undefeated at home, Coach, and you gave them everything you could. You struggled early, fell by double digits in the first half. It got back, got a lead late, trailed by 1.5, and just an exciting basketball game all the way down, and 2 chances in the final 10 seconds to win the game. Yeah,
and it comes back to, well, the play the play that with Matt Zager took the little runner. It was a good look by Matt. The play wasn't designed exactly to go on that to Matt, but he took advantage of the opportunity and got a good look, and unfortunately just couldn't put it down. And then the last play, that's a tough play. 2 seconds left. I mean, you're gonna have to get some luck to be able to knock that shot down, no matter how you look at it. And we could have maybe executed a little bit better, but at the end of the day, it goes back to many more possessions prior to that, and Winona being able to knock down shots. The John Wahlberg shot from the 3.
Just gonna say that one.
Yeah, that's not coaching. I mean, that's just the ability for a player to step up and make a play. And a lot of times at the end of ball games, that plays more of a factor than anything.
And that happened. Mustangs, Jordan Miller hit a 3-pointer with just under 2 minutes to go to put the Mustangs ahead. Made a great play, and it came right down. It seems like Winona does this every time. They have somebody that steps up, and Wahlberg hits the 3. You go down 2. You do get a free throw, but you miss a free throw, so you're down 1. You get some stops and have a chance to take the lead, but we also missed some free throws and unfortunately not able to close it out. But a pretty good game for Southwest. 69-68, SMSU loses. Another big night for Nick Smith. He had 17 points and 9 rebounds. And Jordan Miller, also a very good game, 17 points, 6 of 9 shooting, 4 3-pointers in the game. And the Mustangs shoot a high percentage of threes, 3 of 6 in the first night against Upper Iowa, 7 of 12 tonight. And Coach, those are numbers you'll take every time, obviously. Is that just an example of being patient and finding the right shot and not just throwing up some 3-pointers? And one of those misses is the Nick Smith half quarter.
And I think some of it is, throughout the year we've seen different teams defend our action differently, where they're trying to take away Nick or they're trying to take away our point guards. And I think this situation, whereas a lot of times our guys were driving hard, getting action to the rim, drawing 2 defenders, driving kick situations, and our guys were able to knock down open shots. And it was nice to see Trent Carlson make a couple threes. Jordan Miller knocked down a couple threes, and anytime those guys can knock down those threes, especially early in the game, it opens up the floor so much, and it gives us a little bit better movement, better options on the offensive end.
Well, as I mentioned, the Mustangs trail by 1, under 30 seconds to go. Mustangs get a stop, and Casey Susanguth's foul. He does miss the free throws, but again, Winona misses a couple of free throws. You get the rebound, come down, you call a timeout with around 13 seconds to go, and kind of talk about the play that was set up and what you tried to do for the Mustangs.
Well, the end result was Matt Zager getting the shot, but in all honesty, we noticed that Winona was hard showing or doubling on the ball screen all night long, and we were going to try to take advantage of that. A very simple play, something that on film anyone could see, so I'm not really giving away any secrets, but where Vennard was supposed to go to Jordan Miller and then to try to hit Nick Smith on a slip, that would have gave us an easy opportunity. If that didn't work, Nick was supposed to roll back out and have a two-man game with Jordan Miller with the ball in his hands and Nick setting the ball screen, but it didn't work out that way. We still ended up getting a decent look. Matt Zager had a good look, and at times we're going to go to him to make big baskets. So it wasn't like that was a bad shot by no means by Matt. It was a good take, and we'll take that every time if he gets that look.
Yeah, it was a very good look, but shot would not go down, and the Mustangs then fouled after the miss. Winona did miss a couple of free throws, so as you mentioned, 2.2 seconds left. Unfortunately, a very tough spot to inbound the ball. The Mustangs in their backcourt about the hash mark or so, right there about half court. In the backcourt, I should say, and you get the pass to center court, and Nick took a couple of dribbles and took the shot but missed it, and the Mustangs lose 69-68. Mustangs shoot 44% in the game, and they limit the Warriors to 37%. Very good job defensively for the Mustangs, but they fall 69-68. As you mentioned, Coach, you played 4 teams on the road. 3 of them were ranked higher than the Mustangs in the conference, or tied right now. Very tough road trip, and what were some of the things that you maybe learned about your squad? Definitely did not go backwards at all, I don't believe. It probably made you a tougher squad and ready to get back home and play in front of the home crowd. But what were some of the things that you picked up on these 4 games?
I think the biggest thing that I'm going to take away from this road trip, especially this last weekend, is we have to be a better listening team. And it's funny that you say that, but coming out of some timeouts, coming out of the huddles, understanding what we're trying to get accomplished. Some of those things we could do a better job with some details, and whether that's guys where you look at their youth, but I don't give that as an excuse. It's just we need to be better in some minor details, and it's amazing how if we can execute some plays better, or we can do some of those things coming out of those timeouts a little bit better, I think we can have a different impact on the game, and it comes back to listening and making sure everyone's on the same page.
All right, good points there. And the Mustangs now coming back home and have 4 of their last 7 to close out this regular season at the RA facility. And we'll talk about those games here this weekend coming up, when the Mustangs take on Wayne State and Augustana at the RA facility. You are watching Mustang basketball with Brad Bigler. I'm Kelly Loft, and let's take a look at some of the highlights from this past weekend's games against Upper Iowa and Winona State. We start off, Coach, the Upper Iowa game. Mustangs going right to left here in this first half in the gold uniforms, and we see William Giddings with the basket. Here's this great start. The Mustangs, going up to that 21-3 lead. Great extra pass and a 3-pointer by Birch.
And it was nice to see our guys come out with that defensive intensity. Like you said earlier, Upper Iowa has never seen us on the Friday night down at their gym. And it was just a challenge of our guys to be able to come out and give them our best effort. And I thought, when you knock down shots early, it's easy to get that confidence. And we were able to do that. And you see right here, Matt Zager finishing with contact. But our offense was pretty efficient that night. Again, you see Trent Carlson knocking down a 3. Anytime Trent's knocking down 3s, we're a better basketball team. And that's what we showed this weekend.
And Upper Iowa did everything to try to stop that run, called timeout, and took off their entire starting lineup. But the Mustangs just poured it on early, 21-3. And obviously, look at some of these looks. There's a layup for Casey Susanguth. And then Nick Smith, as you mentioned, 16 points in this game with the layup off a great pass from Giddings. And Bernard Birch, 8 points, 3 assists with a hoop. And again, Coach, you're getting some very good looks in the paint throughout this first half.
I thought our guys executed well. Just the spacing was good, the screening action was good, and I thought our perimeter players were reading the ball screens well and making good decisions.
That's a tough hit by West from 15 feet, now from about 9 feet. Nick Smith off the end out from Trent Carlson. Zager 5 of 7 from the field on this Friday night. He had a basket there on the paint. And as you mentioned, now we go to the second half. Mustangs led by 3, 36-33 at halftime. Start off, and important to get a strong start here to the second half.
Yeah, and that's where I thought going into the half, Upper Iowa did a great job of getting the momentum, putting us on our, on our heels a little bit. But our guys responded. And the second half came out and got some easy buckets and got that confidence and got the momentum right back.
Mustangs shot 58% in the opening half. Continue their very good shooting in the second, 11 of 20, 50%. Here's a highlight play for Jordan Miller, reverse layup, incredible play. Mustangs continue the defensive pressure, steal, and then an and one here for Lavion West. And Casey Susanguth working hard here, picking up an offensive rebound and drawing the foul. Just couldn't get it to go, but kept that possession alive. Second chance points for the Mustangs. Didn't need many of them because they shot so well from the field. And one thing we continue to see, Coach, is a lot of different players making plays. Not just one or two or three players. It's this entire team, and everybody scored at least 4 points in this game.
And sometimes you'll see it's not necessarily the guy driving that always scores. It's we always on the offensive end we say, hey, create an easy opportunity for a teammate, and that's where trying to play as unselfish as we possibly can. As you see right there, Jordan Miller with a nice football touchdown pass to Lavion West. But in the half court, we want to be an unselfish basketball team. We want to share the basketball and take shots that we can make.
Good defense there, forcing the Peacock player to dribble right off his foot. Nick Smith with a couple of plays late in the game.
And that defensive possession, it's one of those things where we understand we're not going to get a steal every single time, but as soon as the offense kind of rests, that's when we're able to get that play to get us another possession.
And you saw the final pass, Jordan Miller. Those are not easy passes to make. Throwing it overhand and an accurate pass. Anybody can throw it, but to make an accurate pass, you saw a couple of very nice plays, and Jordan could do that, and Matt Zager was fouled to close out that game. But the Mustangs did enough to win and pick up the victory, 81-71 over Upper Iowa. Again, a team that beat Augustana and Wayne State at home the previous weekend. So a big road win on Friday night for the Mustangs against the Peacocks. And again, 4 players in double-figure scoring, 16 for Nick Smith, 15 for Matt Zager, 11 for Casey Susanguth, and Lavion West also added double digits with 10 off the bench for the Mustangs, who shoot, as you mentioned, a season-high 57% from the field. And a big change, the previous game, Mustangs shot a season low against Bemidji State, go on the road and get the big win by 10 and shoot very well, and didn't even attempt a three-pointer in that second half.
I didn't even know that. But no, I think the biggest thing is right now for us to be a championship caliber team, we have to find a way to go back-to-back nights. We've been good on the Friday nights. We've had a lot of energy on the Friday nights. Now it's on those Saturday nights to be able to rebound, and especially when we're on the road, to have that same type of energy, that same type of level of play. And we're close, but we're not quite there right now.
And obviously every team is in the same boat, and there are some conferences that do this, but more often than not, this is a unique conference because of the travel that we have to go Friday, Saturday. And as you mentioned, we've talked about this in the past. It's exciting, kind of makes it really a basketball weekend whenever we're at home, but it can be difficult, especially some of these road trips. We talk about, Coach, we've maybe mentioned in the past, what Southwest does. Our women and men's teams travel together. Some schools do not, but because of traveling together, we need to leave that night after a game, and depending on the road conditions, like Friday, leaving Fayette, going to Winona, not the greatest, and it takes a while. And next thing you know, you get in the hotel at 1:30 in the morning. You got to play at 4 and 6 the next day.
And it's a challenge. It always is, and it might even be more of a challenge for the female side of things because with our situation, they do ride the bus with us, and so they're getting home they're getting at the hotel at the same time as we are, 2 in the morning, and then that turnaround time is difficult. And I think, but yeah, for college athletics, NSIC basketball, that's why it makes it so tough to win on the road. And That's where the good teams, the best teams, they find a way to do that, and we're still learning how to win on the road.
We just have to find that road construction between Mankato and Marshall here in the next couple weeks to make it real tough for some of these teams, right?
Maybe we'll get a little snow.
Yeah, that's right. Just to dump it between midnight and 2 a.m. between Marshall and Mankato. That's the Mustangs' travel partner is Minnesota State, and that's where they'll be hosting Augustana on Friday, and the Vikings will be coming to Marshall on Saturday to take on the Mustangs. Well, as before we look at this upcoming weekend's games, let's take a look at that exciting ball game at Winona. Mustangs lose 69-68 to the Warriors, who came in ranked number 6 in the nation with a record of 18-2. And the conference-wise, they were 13-1, and Mustangs starting up here in the first half, and the whites going left to right, and big block by Jordan Miller, and the basket by Zager, and then Trent Carlson again finding his teammates, and Lavion West with the basket. SMSU shot 42% in the first half. Warriors did not shoot particularly well, but they did hit 5 threes. They got to the free throw line and had an 18-9 lead early on. And Coach, you guys were just able to battle back and talk about tough places to play, and that's one of them is Winona State.
Well, and it was, early on I thought our energy level was not anywhere where it needed to be. I thought our focus with that and communication was all exactly what it should have been when we were down 18-9, but call a timeout, refocus the guys, and I thought they responded very well after that slow start.
Monster dunk by Giddings, and there's Susan Guth, the and one.
Good spacing. That's where you can see those open lanes to drive, and Matt Zager is as good as anyone in the conference when it comes to putting the ball on the floor and getting action to the rim.
Great bounce pass, Carlson to Smith. Again, Nick, 17 points, 9 rebounds. He had 3 blocks in this game. Tremel Barnes finding a open Carlson for a 3 on the left wing in this first half. Mustangs clawing back. They took the lead late in the half, going up by 1. There's Zager with a hoop. But the Warriors were able to come back, and Giddings misses the 3 and tipped in. Beautiful play for SMSU for Nick Smith.
And you just see right now we're getting some good action behind the defense. And then we're right here, you see Nick Smith stepping up and knocking down a 3. I think that's is that his first or second of the year? And but Nick just getting it going in that second half again. He's a guy who can step out and shoot that perimeter shot, but I think he's probably at his best when he's inside going to those jump hooks. He's one of the few guys in the conference who consistently can score over somebody, and it's a guy that as he develops throughout his career is going to be a go-to guy.
Yeah, second 3-pointer of the season for Smith. He's fouled going to the rim and getting in the late stages of this game, and just a back and forth affair. Every possession so critical, and Susan Guth, again, this last month or so, really just being aggressive and creating his own shots, drawing the foul. Birch in trouble, but finds Giddings for a huge 3. I think the Mustangs at that time were down by about 6 or 7 points, and that kept us right in the ball game. Birch with his only basket of the game, driving, and then some big 3s here late by Jordan Miller. Really, stepped up and made some plays.
And you see, right now, obviously these are highlights, or positive highlights, but it looks like we're getting a lot better rhythm on offense and getting some good action to the rim right there. Like I was talking about earlier, that's just a player making a play. Jordan Miller knocking down that 3 from deep. Again, here Jordan's feeling it and knocks down another 3.
And the Mustangs now on defense, and this is under a minute to go. That 3-pointer there was the last one, gave the Mustangs the lead, and now trailing by a point. And Casey Susan with big steal, and then he is fouled. Unfortunately, misses the free throws. Mustangs do get the board, but then it's taken away. And talk about plays, that's huge. I mean, you could have held for the last shot, and here's that opportunity here for the Mustangs, to go take the lead here after that timeout with about 13 seconds to go.
And I think at situations like this, you want to keep it simple. And Bernard chooses to go off the ball screen, which I guess that wasn't the design of the play, but he made the read, and we still ended up getting a decent look.
And that was the final score. Mustangs missed that shot, did Zager. Pretty good defense by the Warriors as well, and they were able to come away with it. But we talk about just the little plays. Susan Guth gets that steal. We're not able to convert, but we missed a free throw. But Jordan gets that rebound, and it was a good defensive play by the Warriors. They were able to knock it away and got the ball back. But who knows what happened if the Mustangs could have kept that ball.
Yeah, and that's again, those are just little plays here and there that. Players making plays, and that's what ends up being at the end of ball games, especially when it comes playoff time. This is at that time we'll play a team a third time, maybe even fourth time if you see them in the regionals, and so you know everything about them. It's a matter of hopefully your matchups are better than the opposing team's matchups.
Yeah, it should be fun. We'd love to be playing in the month of March, and that'll all be determined on what happens here in the month of February as we turn the calendar around, and February coming here, and of course it's February 3rd and 4th. It's Hawaiian weekend here in Marshall. All the snow on the ground, not really, but we'll pretend there is, and it's Hawaiian. It's always a great time, Coach, and big game coming up on Friday against Wayne, Hawaiian night on Saturday against Augustana. But the first thing first, you got Wayne State Friday night, a team that just snapped their losing streak, really getting after it defensively are the Wildcats here in the past couple of weeks, and they get some confidence now with the win. And then Augustana picks up 2 huge wins at home last weekend against Concordia and St. Cloud State. So they're playing with some confidence. And as you mentioned, the whole weekend is going to be great crowds. But more importantly, Friday night comes first. And, Mustangs and Wildcats should be a great game.
And for us, it's the game is about getting as many possessions as possible. Wayne State's a team that likes to keep the scoring low. They'll play a lot of different zones. We're right now preparing for every zone that you can think of, and making sure that we have enough options to go against those zones, whether they play a 1-3-1, whether they play a 1-2-2, a 2-3, whatever you have, we're going to be prepared for it.
And of course, then on Saturday, the Mustangs taking on Wayne State, Augustana, the preseason pick to win the conference, and they've struggled a bit record-wise. They've lost some games, and they've got some talented players, and McCaffrey, and transfer from Division I, Dre Murray, and Cody Schilling has played very well, and should be just an incredible game on Saturday night against the Vikings, and they really took it to us in that conference opener back in early December.
Yeah, and at that point, they made baskets. I remember Cam McCaffrey having a pretty outstanding game, being able to knock down some tough shots, and I think that's a team that when they shoot the basketball well, they can beat anybody. I think a lot of times it's those 3 guys will get going. It's a matter of trying to see if they can get another guy with that mix to be able to step up and knock down some shots.
It should be a fun weekend of basketball. I'd love to see everybody come out and support the Mustangs. Games both nights, women and men, start at 6 and 8 o'clock. So 6 and 8 both Friday and Saturday at the RA facility. It promises to be an exciting weekend of basketball. Wayne State on Friday night and Augustana on Saturday. Just 4 games left in the regular season at home for the Mustangs at the RA facility. So hope to see you out there this weekend. For the head coach, Brad Bigler, I'm Kelly Loft. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Mustang Basketball with Brad Bigler here from Studio One and at smsumustangs.com. Until next week, go Mustangs.